Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mocktail Minutes. This is Bailey.
And this is Brianna.
This week, I am drinking Mocktail Minutes' very own matcha blend, berry matcha from the Roasted Purpose. And it's delicious. It's just like a good, refreshing drink, and it's got protein.
I love that. I'm going to get on a big matcha kick soon. I'm going to figure out how to make it really delicious, all of it.
Well, you just need to get our matcha.
Yeah, that one is actually very good. But I'm just trying to make hot. I don't know. I want to be such a good matcha person, but I haven't figured out how to make it. But Rachel had a really good video the other day, actually. And I think it kind of explained what I'm doing wrong. But anyways, I am doing Drink Wholesome's egg white protein, the vanilla one. And I just mixed it with a little bit of cold brew for a little protein coffee. I really like their egg white protein. If you have any sensitivities to whey or even plant, I feel like it's such a good option.
Oh, yeah. I love Drink Wholesome. It's the protein powder I use for.
Yeah. I never feel bad after drinking it ever. So it's kind of my go-to.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. Today, we're getting a little controversial here, I feel like, today. So we're talking about body positivity. So we're taking a little bit, talked about it a little bit in some episodes, but we're taking kind of a different approach and giving our thoughts on it.
I feel like the body positivity movement, it got big a couple of years ago, I feel like, and for good reason, right? Women kind of hate their bodies. So having a movement where it's self-acceptance, great. I love it. But I think there is a side of it that sometimes so much self-acceptance, you kind of feel like you can't ever want to change your body, or anything that goes with changing your body is bad. And then we kind of get a little bit into denial.
Yes. And this is where, some people might get mad at us for talking about these things, but these are just facts. And so haze is something some of you might have heard of. And I remember when I was in school to be a dietitian. So I think it was my first conference. What is it called? Oh, Fancy. That's the big dietitian conference.
Yeah.
So my first one, it was in 2017 probably. And one of the presentations was over haze. So haze is healthy at every size. It's basically a framework that promotes body respect, weight inclusivity, just health enhancing behaviors for people of all sizes. And it was developed in response to concerns over weight stigmas, discrimination in healthcare, and just the harmful psychological and physical effects of chronic dieting and fat phobia.
Yeah.
So, I think with anything, the intentions were good. The intentions were to reject the use of just weight as a primary indicator of health. It was to encourage more intuitive movement and eating, promote more self-respect, support health behaviors without just focusing on weight loss, and to fight the weight stigma. However, it really encourages the idea that a person's size does not determine their health status. And while haze gained some popularity, especially on social media and among some healthcare professionals, I think deserves almost some criticism because of, again, let's look at the facts. Now, when I say this, I am not saying you are less of a person because you were overweight or obese. This is not the point here. The point here is saying that when you have excess fat, it does contribute to health conditions that are working against your body. Over 42% of American adults are obese. That's almost 1 in 2 adults are obese. Childhood obesity rates have quadrupled in the last 40 years. Obesity is also linked to at least 13 types of cancer. And in 2019, there was a study that concluded that obesity now kills more people globally than hunger. And the thing is, all these studies repeatedly show that a higher BMI correlates with an increased risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, sleep apnea, infertility. Yet we have this other, what do we call haze? We have haze who's doesn't matter what size you are, you can be healthy. yes, it's true. And I also don't think like BMI is the end all be all, but
Yeah.
what's that body composition like? So I'm thinking more of if we have all this excess fat, it is going to contribute to all of these health concerns. And it's 100% something we can work on controlling.
Yes. And I think it started off so good. I think it started off so good. It was trying to, again, like you said, really take the stigma out of doctors simply looking at certain metrics and being like, you must be unhealthy because this, or looking at someone and having a different standard of care because they were in larger bodies, which is totally not okay. And I've seen this in the hospital. Not every person who is in a larger body is unhealthy. And so I get it, but it is safe to say like obesity, and I hope sometime in the future we're starting to use obesity in terms of like your body fat percentage, right? Because some people are always just going to be a higher BMI. Some people with a low BMI are just as unhealthy as someone with a high BMI because it really is that muscle mass versus fat mass. And your fat mass, what percent of that is visceral fat? Because that's like but it is safe to say if you are at a BMI of 35 or 40, which a lot of research that has links like your risk of all these diseases goes up dramatically. And it's safe to say if you're at a BMI of 40, you are probably dealing with some excess body fat or overweight. That's just how it is, unless you are like a very intense bodybuilder with a huge amount of muscle on you. So again, I don't think we should just be looking at the metrics of like, oh, are they a BMI over 25 or are they BMI of like 27, 28? But if you're a larger BMI, we know that it does increase risk. And I feel like Hayes kind of took the severity of it out of things. Like instead it was like, no matter what, you can be healthy, which I do think you can be at any size and be working towards health. I do think you could be a larger body and be healthier than someone in a smaller. Absolutely. Like the picture goes way deeper. But I think it kind of told people like, screw weight in general, screw all of that. You can be very healthy no matter how, no matter what your body size is. And it kind of is doing a disservice to people because the leading causes of death in America are nutrition related diseases, lifestyle related diseases, all based off of how much fat mass and lean mass you have. And so just telling someone, nope, you're never going to have a heart attack being 300 pounds is like bad healthcare. You know what I mean? Like, and as dietitians, we're preventative healthcare. Like that's really what we are supposed to be. I know a lot of times we're just looked at as like healthcare because people can only start coming to us and insurance covers us once they have disease, but dietitians in itself are preventative. And so it's so hard for me to be like, no, you're never going to have any sort of risk of disease. Like I have to lay out the whole picture. Now, what you decide to do with that and how you want to approach it, great. Like I don't think we need to be weight centered for like our practice, but I think it plays a part in it.
And this is exactly where like the argument comes up. Yes, people deserve to be, like you said, people deserve respect no matter, even if you have excess fat, you should be respected as a person. Your percent of body fat should not determine your worth. 100%. But then it's like, okay, are we focusing too much on dignity and we're in that denial phase?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, you can love yourself and promote body positivity and still want to be healthier. You can fight fat phobia without pretending that obesity, again, not even just excess fat, isn't a problem. Because thinking about the major health issues associated with obesity, cardiovascular disease, obesity increases the risk of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, atherosclerosis, all of which are major contributors to heart attack, stroke, and heart failure.
Yeah.
Thinking of like type 2 diabetes, excess body fat, especially around the abdomen, causes insulin resistance. So you have more insulin going on there too, which can lead to type 2 diabetes and long-term nerve damage, kidney failure, blindness, amputation, if it really gets bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different things, respiratory issues. Obesity can physically restrict your breathing and increase the risk of obstructive sleep apnea. It's like what, a 10% weight loss is going to help sleep apnea? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Just because pressure, I mean, if you're thinking of that, like, on your body. Yeah. I mean, cancers, especially, like there's like 13, what is it? 13 types of cancers.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
like breast, colorectal, pancreatic, esophageal, liver, kidney.
Yeah. Because fat is inflammatory, especially that visceral fat. It's very inflammatory. It's not what we want. We don't want our cells to be in an unhealthy state because that just leads to other cells being unhealthy. That is a very simplified way to describe cancer. But like and the thing is
like losing fat is just going to mean you'll never get to cancer. I'm not saying that either.
Yeah.
But also, like if you have excess fat and you do get cancer, there are indications of lower survival rates with this too. It's going to be harder to fight it off.
Yeah. I mean, we see that with any disease. Like we saw that with the vid. I don't even know. Can we say that word? We knew people with much higher BMIs had much bigger complications. Like that's just how it is with any sickness. And so I'm never going to look at someone's weight and determine, oh, you're healthy because you're this weight or that weight. Like we like the whole picture, right? Like that's why I'm looking at labs. We're looking at a whole bunch of stuff because it isn't just the number on the scale. And I think that's what Hayes was getting at, was like, hey, there's more to the picture. But then it turned to this, like, now no matter what you do to try to decrease your body weight, now you're not being body positive and you're shaming people. And I think that keeps people stuck because women have always been at war with their bodies. And so, yes, I want you to love your body, respect it no matter what the size is. Your body deserves that. Everybody deserves that. But then women get stuck thinking, well, okay, I've accepted my body. This is what it is, but now I can't change it either because then I'm not being body positive. And then they're stuck with this dilemma of like in their head, they really want to change their body. And then they think this is wrong. So I was wrong for hating my body. And now I'm wrong for wanting to change my body. And it's always just this war within themselves when it's like you said, you can have respect for your body, love it, support it, give it what it needs, because that's going to be helpful for long term. Just starving yourself is not helpful for long term. Being malnourished as an underweight causes a lot of risk for things as well. But you can love your body, support it, and it's okay to want to change it. That doesn't make you not love yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I would argue to say, like, I've seen some body positivity posts, and it's like, we just eat whatever we want, and like, there's just no cares.
Mm-hmm.
Not respecting your body. That's kind of just getting rebellious and going against the grain because it's like, I'm not going to confine to these.
Right. Which I feel like is not taking care of your body, right? Exactly. Like we can't just do whatever we want to do. We can't be like, forget it. I'm going to survive off candy and not sleep and never move my body. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can do things. You can, but yeah, you're not, I would say that's not great body positivity. You're not supporting your body. That's not being helpful at any size. Like, and I think this is where like intuitive eating and other thing like food freedom gets such a bad rap because then it's like, oh, you must just be eating whatever you want, whatever you want. It's like, well, food freedom and intuitive eating is not that, but people think it is because of the health at every size body positivity movement. I'm not just saying go out and eat pizza all day, every day. That's not intuitive eating or food freedom, but it's so black and white. And I feel like both sides lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not, I mean, I don't know if you're going to agree this or not, but when you're trying to make more nutritious choices, you're working to build muscle or lose fat or whatever it is, you may not love everything you eat. I mean,
right. Yeah.
You may not be excited to do it either.
Yeah. I work with a lot of people outpatient who they are morbidly obese. Okay. We're talking BMIs of like 40, 45, 50. They have a lot of body weight to lose. They are doing habits and changing things and they don't love it. Why? Because they've been in this routine of doing things a certain way and they're literally making over their entire way of doing things. Like I have one, she's like, I've never had a vegetable. It kind of blew me away. I was like, no, yes, you have. She's like, no, I haven't. Her family grew up on like fast food only. They did not have vegetables. They did not buy fresh fruit or vegetables. And she's like, I'm an adult now. And I've always just assumed I don't like those things. So I've never tried them. So she's like, I'm literally relearning what I like to eat. And she's like, it turns out I do like vegetables, not all of them, but she's like, literally like, I feel like a child needing to try all these new foods, which she doesn't always love because again, habit change is hard, but eventually you love how you feel and you realize when I do this for my health, it's better. It's like that with everything. Like people love to drink alcohol. Alcohol will eventually kill you. Tobacco eventually kills you. Things that feel good eventually aren't very good for you. You have to rein it in. That's just the reality of it. And people will say, oh, well, you're being, whatever. This.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
People are always like, well, something's got to kill you at some point. I'm like, okay, but I don't choose death by brownie every night. Like,
no. Right. I was going to say, like, I choose death by skydiving. I absolutely don't. And now I'm never going to skydive ever again because I just jinxed myself. But you know what I mean? Like, I want to be like, I want it to be where anything I can really control, I'm not dying from that because it is in my control, the things that I do. And, obviously genetics and environment play a huge role in obesity. We know that. To me, when I hear that, I hear, oh, I need to do a better job at helping my patients and clients who have such a high risk of disease because of that genetic factor and tell them all the things they should be doing sooner in life, right? I'm not going to look at them and be like, oh, you're overweight. Oh, it's just you. No, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, maybe there's a lot playing into it. Insulin resistance at a much earlier age, all this stuff, cool. But it's my job to be like, hey, you're at higher risk. Whereas like maybe your parents or grandparents didn't really have to worry about this until 60, 70, or 80, but now you're in your 30s and 40s. And I'm doing you a disservice if I'm telling you you could do whatever you want and be fine. Because I know that that's not true.
like stop waiting till your health is in the gutter to make changes. Insulin resistance, like we can detect insulin resistance like 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
For type 2 diabetes.
And whenever I tell somebody that, they're like, how come nobody didn't tell me? I'm like why they're in my office and they're like, why am I learning about this now? And I'm like, it's just not the standard of care, which needs to change. And it's like, my doctor's always just been like, you need to lose weight. And it's like, okay, yeah, true. But you probably had a harder time losing weight. You probably needed other tools to help you so that you didn't get to this point. Like that's the missing piece that I think everyone's trying to get to. But it's just this big back and forth about like, you're really unhealthy if you look a certain way. You're never unhealthy, no matter how you look. It's just individualized approach. But I can't say you could do whatever you want, whenever you want, and live a happy, healthful life.
Like look further into your future and decide what you actually want. If sure, brownie makes you happy, but it's probably a lot more enjoyable being 70 and independent and getting to go out and do things. And like people, I've heard people say they're scared to live forever because they don't want to be a vegetable living. I'm like, but that
you can get paperwork for that. But I know what you mean.
They don't want to just be like existing.
They want to have good quality of life.
That's when I'm like, okay, do these things now so you can have that quality of life. You're not just sitting there at 80, 90 years old. You can be up and moving at 80 or 90. You're setting yourself right now. Yes. And so I guess to kind of close this episode out, let's talk about how to be body positive while making healthy changes. Number one, I would say you have to start from a place of self-respect.
Yeah.
Not self-hate. So not thinking like I need to change because I hate my body. Maybe do you want to feel better, move easier, have more energy, have more sleep, be able to go up the steps without needing to like take a break, so to say. Mm-hmm. Body positivity isn't about never changing. It's about never needing to hate yourself in order to change. Yeah. And there's a better way to look at it.
And I feel like when I look at body positivity, I'm thinking like accepting and loving your body for like the natural aging kind of process, like what season of life you're in, like stretch marks are normal, freckles, wrinkles, like you get a little looser in some areas, like, that to me, I'm like, okay, that's body positive, loving your body in whatever season you're in. There are certain things you can't really change. And it's just being okay with that and being like, hey, this is my body. I'm choosing to like it. Right. I don't really think that has much to do with weight, to be completely honest. And so I feel like I've met so many women who feel bad. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I really am working on being body positive and loving my body, but I also want to change it and I feel bad about that, separate the two, completely separate the two. They're not together. And I would say have the mantra of like, and checking in with your intentions. Like, are you doing something today to fully support your body and have longevity? Or are you doing it to torture yourself because you want to lose weight? Right. Because anything that you do can be negative, right? Anything that's health promoting can be negative if your intention is bad. So like have a mantra of, I respect my body and I'm working towards having the body that I feel very comfortable in or that I really enjoy. Like think of like some sort of mantra, like you can, and that's going to help you make that habit change.
Yep.
Because then you just get stuck in like, well, then this is what it is and I have to be happy about it. And then you're still unhappy with yourself.
Stop settling.
Yeah.
Stop just accepting things for what they are. Like if you don't feel good, do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this happen all the time where we get stuck in this rut of like, woe is me, and
Mm-hmm.
how it is. And then I'll be like, well, what have you worked on?
Mm-hmm.
On this for about 2 weeks and it didn't work. So I'm back to square one. It's going to take more than 2 weeks. I mean, not that you should always have to be hyper focused on changing your habits, but I mean, you should be intentional every day about what you are doing to fuel your body, to move your body, to allow your body to get rest, to fill your enjoyment cup or whatever it is. My advice is just stop settling and just life happen to you.
Yeah. You have to be the adult in your life and ask yourself, does this make me feel good? Does this get me where I want to be? Do I like what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And be honest about it. Cause sometimes we're like, well, I hate working out. So I guess I shouldn't. No, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see what everybody thinks about this. I feel like we don't usually do super controversial things. I feel like this is a little controversial. And I think, if you've worked with Baylor and I, that like, yeah, we help people lose weight, but we also, our main goal is to make you feel good and have longevity. So yeah.
All right, everyone. Feel free. Let us know your takes on this episode.
And you could be mad too. Like if you're like, ew, I hated this, send me a mean DM and like, let's chat about it. Cause it probably struck something. You could also send me a nice DM. That'd be cool too. But
Nice ones and Brianna the mean ones.
like, I'll take the good ones. But yeah, let us know what you
Yes. We hope you have a great week and we'll be back next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.